This is some code that's trying to do the impossible. Help me find a Valentine this year. Alright. I'm here by myself. Hi.
Yeah, we have everything else.
Alright, I'm in this restaurant. Sure, yeah, perfect. Hey guys, it's February 8th, which means it's less than a week away from my least favorite day of the year, Singles Awareness Day, also known as Valentine's Day. And of course, this year I am once again really single. But this year I've decided to put my coding skills to the test and see if I could come up with something that would help me find a Valentine. Last year I was also really single, but one of my friends was messaging a bunch of her guy friends as a joke, asking if they would be her Valentine. Curious to see what would happen for myself, I did the same thing on a variety of different platforms. Some platforms didn't work out too well. You know, the hockey players, chain smokers, never responded to my Instagram DMs. But on other platforms like dating apps, I actually had some mild success. I ended up going on a few dates with this one guy. That obviously didn't work out, but it gave me an idea for this year. After some thinking, I decided that I would build something that would swipe right and message a bunch of guys for me on Bumble. Maybe one of them might actually end up being my Valentine this year. Also guys, I gotta say, I chose Bumble for this project because I'm absolutely obsessed with Bumble. I love how the app just encourages women to make the first move in everything in life, not just dating, in sports, in your career, in other relationships, and so on. I love the message that they're trying to send, and I'm all about that female empowerment. And also this app isn't just like for dating. You can also find friends, you can network on it. Like, all in all, great app. That's why I'm using it. Here's what I ended up doing. I essentially reverse engineered the Bumble API. Now, an API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it serves as a line of communication between the front end, which is either the app or the website, something that the user interacts with, and the back end, which is Bumble's server, data, database, all that good stuff. And an API allows the front end to essentially send a request to the back end. It might be something like, get this type of data, or do this action. And the back end will send a response in return. So I went on my computer and I went on Bumble's website. I was able to find the 4 API calls that I needed to complete this project. So 1 was finding all the users that I could swipe on. 2, swiping right on each of those users. 3, getting my entire match queue. And 4, sending a message to each of those matches. So my message for this project was, will you be my Valentine? I thought it was pretty straightforward, but if you have any suggestions for better pickup lines, then let me know in the comments below. I created this brilliantly named, super creative function called main, which goes through all my possible encounters and swipes right on each of them, then chills for a second, and then gets my entire match queue, sets the message to be, will you be my Valentine, and then says for each of these users in the match queue, send each of them this message, and then chill for another second. And so yeah, now this code works. It's great. We're gonna find a date. This Valentine's Day is not gonna be like the rest. So here's what ended up happening. I had a few guys that just unmatched me. I had a few that just never responded. It takes a little blow to the self-esteem, but that's life. It's okay. Life goes on. There was one guy who offered to marry me, and I said, okay, buy the tickets to Vegas. I'll meet you at the airport. We never ended up going to Vegas. There was one guy who asked for back rubs and copious amounts of affection, and I said no. There was another guy who kept messaging me and trying to Bumble call me, which I didn't even know was a feature that existed. Yeah, the third time he called me, I was brushing my teeth and I looked down at my phone and I realized I'm getting a Bumble call from this guy. So that's when I ended up unmatching him. And then there was this guy named Peter who actually seemed pretty cool. And I asked him to be my Valentine, and he said that he'll be in California, asking if that's okay. And I said, okay, but only if we can FaceTime. So he said, all right, we can each go out to a restaurant, and we can FaceTime for the duration of the dinner. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, so I said yes. And he asked for my number. I gave it to him. He texted me saying, expect a FaceTime at 7:30, which I ended up pushing back to 8 because I had practice, and he said that was no problem. So then, the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th, I text him, I'm like, is this still happening? And he said, yeah. So on Valentine's Day, after practice, I'm going to this restaurant. I get my table for one. I sit down, I'm looking at the menu, the clock's ticking, it's past 8. I texted him, I said, I'm at my table for one, whenever you're ready. And there's no response. And he never ended up FaceTiming me. So, here's to getting ghosted on Valentine's Day. My code did not work. I still don't have a Valentine. I didn't get a Valentine. And yeah, that was great. Hey guys, I'm at this restaurant. We'll see if this guy ends up calling or not. You want to know the whole backstory? And this guy never called me. It was supposed to be a FaceTime date. Because apparently he was in like San Francisco or something. Alright, where is this week? I know, exactly. Exactly, that's why I'm Alright, wait, the food just came. Look at this. Been here for like an hour. It's currently 8:52 and my Bumble FaceTime date was supposed to call me at 8. So if you feel bad for me, make sure you click that subscribe button. It'll definitely make me feel a little bit better. Thanks.